So there's a lot of AI debate going on right now on whether people should be using AI for helping them with stories and helping them with writing or just writing things with AI in total. So I went through a couple of free AI tools. Most of them just flat out told me that they could not handle 50,000 words or that I would have to upload it in chunks and it would have issues remembering between the different chunks. Grok is the only one I found that told me flat out it can handle a 50,000 word document without any problem. And here, let's zoom in a little more to help. And it would systematically check it. All of this. Here's what Grok says it can do. It can do full text logical consistency, timeline and chronology, factual or scientific errors. This is what it can help me with. 50,000 words is within its context window. Context, if you're not familiar with AI, is how much the AI remembers. So you can think of high context, it remembers more, it can connect the dots easier. Low context, it has trouble remembering things. Here's what it says it can do. It tells me to upload it and paste it. And then I was like, okay, well, before I do that, what happens to documents? Here, Grok is telling me, whether you believe it or not, it's only used for the current conversation. It's not stored long term. So all of this is just it's not going to steal your stuff. Believe it or not, we're going to go with it. So I waited a little bit of time just so that we could get the most out of our I think it's you've got like 20 messages back and forth with Grok before you go on a 2-hour cooldown. So I went ahead, I went back 10 years, got my NaNoWriMo from then, and here's that document so that we can follow along with Grok and see how correct it is. So, list of characters with traits. Okay, here is where we get some things that are correct. So there is a flashback, and it does indeed have these 4 characters. And here, these 4 is relatively correct. It misses a little bit of nuance, but this did say that this was just going to be basic traits. So here, no big issue. Present day, also no big issues except that it misses a whole section of the story, which is where we're going to see most of our problem. It completely misses this middle part when it was giving us the character overview. If it does have everything that's here and that's here and here. So for some reason, this section is going to give the AI a whole lot of problems, and I'm not exactly sure why. Here's some minor antagonists. This is the character, and here you notice that the AI, it does understand St. Nicholas is a place. Here it recognizes that it's a place, and here it does have some issues that it can't quite tell whether Vicky and Victoria are the same person. Just like up here, it isn't sure whether Victoria is adopted or a biological daughter. So right away, that's a fact that's said pretty clearly in the story. Which if we come here, Victoria, very first introduction to Victoria is there. So the AI totally misses this that I don't think any human reader would confuse. Likewise, I don't think a human reader would confuse these 2 references to Vicky as being a different character than Victoria. That's fine. AI, we're starting to see some cracks here. That AI is not that good at what we're doing. But those are pretty minor. We can work around that. Here's where I tell it, hey, you missed everything from George Evers' story. And it's like, you're right. It was truncated in the upload, you said. Now, that's odd because I sent it this document that we have. Nothing was truncated there. And now it says it's a separate cast of characters from roughly 15 to 18 years before 21 AE. Let's come up here. So that's about right. 7, so 15 to 18, close enough. Close enough for this. Here's where things get interesting. Here are the missing characters. This is completely wrong. George Evers never meets Mona in the story. So this is not exactly right. This is not exactly right. But here, this confused me because I wrote this and I was like, I'm pretty sure that George Evers does meet a little girl, but I thought part of the thing is that she doesn't get a name. And sure enough, I don't know if you can see this here, there's no matches for Maria. AI has just hallucinated this character into existence. Likewise, I wrote this, so I was like, I don't think this happens. And I thought, oh well, maybe it's confusing. There are some raiders. Maybe it's confusing this, but that's not the antagonist's name, and there is no Silas in here either. Grok has just hallucinated these two characters into the story. Same with Thomas. I don't know where it got any of those people. There is a Tom, but nothing there that would make me think that it had. I don't know why it thought this up, right? Like, if you're using AI, you probably are going to want to get something a little bit better than Grok, because these hallucinations just make you question like how all of this stuff that was kind of right is a little more less trustworthy now. Here we tell it we did a search for the file. Those names, where did you find them? Yep, I must have made an error, likely by incorrectly inferring or hallucinating. This is why you really don't want to rely on AI to help you write things, because it can't be consistent. It's going to incorrectly infer or hallucinate stuff. Now, here's where things get weird, right? Because it says that he's hallucinating a more detailed subplot around the brief references to George Evers, who is only mentioned twice in passing. So let's come here. George. You can see he's mentioned a lot. Evers. His last name gets used 14 times. In fact, this entire section here, part 2, is his story, and it's from page about 30 to what's the Rocks and Foundations. So about 60 pages are solely about George Evers' subplot. There's no expanded story. So not only is AI hallucinating characters, it's not seeing 60 some pages of what's in there. So we ask it, okay, maybe we need to handhold it a little bit and just ask it, hey, what is this that you see? No, and here is a clear spoiler-aware synopsis. I don't know why. We told it was helping me, so I don't know why it cares about spoilers, but whatever. First, that's wrong. It doesn't even get the dates right. This, though, this description here that it gives, this is the first part of the story. Yep, here we tell it that, hey, that's actually part 1. You mislabeled it. That's the first part. Okay, so this then says, okay, I got you. Part 2 is about the regiment and the wilds, which is actually part 4. or part 3, I'm sorry. No, that's part 3. We're right again. So here we go. We have now gone through 3 iterations with AI, and we're almost at what it says is going to be correct. So let's see what their correct synopsis is. Serves as the bridge. Okay, that's right. It's between part 1 and the longer 3. Yeah, that's all correct. Uh, Press is relevant. Yeah, there is no flashback about this secret for decades. Uh, this stuff is kind of correct. That happens in part 1. Uh, this is entirely hallucinated. There is no. This never really happens. It's implied that there are some sort of tests that are happening in the background, but we don't see it. We don't get this overseeing a whole bunch of medical trials. This is technically correct, but it's not really what this part is focused on. This is correct, but it totally misses everything about George Evers' adventure. Yeah. This is not right at all. Thematically, I think it knows. I think what it keyed in on is that this is thematically what we kind of wanted to point to is that, you know, Michael is or Carmichael, whatever you feel like referring to him as, is not as morally good as we originally thought, and Prass is having some second thoughts. But that's the C story of part 2. And so AI focused on it and it knew, oh hey, this is important because this is the through line for part 1 and 3. But in doing so, it completely forgot to tell us about everything. So, try again. That's not what happened at all. Okay, here we go. This is a very short transitional section, only a few pages. Go back. It's like 60 pages of what is it, like a 120 page document? Oh my god, 162. Way more pages than I thought. So, a significant percentage is part 2. It is not from Mona Prass's point of view, as you saw when we went there, which we can go back. It's third person, not quite omniscient. We're mainly following George Evers' point of view. And we haven't edited this, even though it was written in 2015, so ignore that. Yeah, so, no. I mean, that's a thing that happened, but not in this chapter. No. And since this is wrong, all of this that follows is wrong. And that's just not what happened. So there's no laboratory with human test subjects. True. No neural agent. Actually false. No raiders. No false. There is actually a raid on a factory. And there is no secret conspiracy. There is a conspiracy. These 3 things all actually happen just in the background. They're not the focus of part 2. So now we've fixed it, but not quite. So we just tell it that's a hallucination to try and get it to fix itself. Yep, that is on you, Grok. Totally on you. To fix it once and for all. So it parsed and extracted the raw content. So I don't know what it was doing before. It still thinks it's only a single page, and it's a long transitional flashback. This, I think, is mixing parts of the opening and the closing. Because this is stuff that relatively happens, but not in part 2. This is all part 1 and 4. So it's like, hey, how can we help you help it? All right, we give it the first paragraph, hoping that'll help cue it in. But it doesn't. It still has the number of pages wrong. the year's close enough. He is cocky. He's described as charming. He is a womanizer. He did not grow up entirely inside Carmichael City. That is actually incorrect. Let me see if we can find it in here. About him. Here. Here. This whole section. He is about his time in the wilds before coming to the city. So it's just wrong about him growing up inside the city. He does have a good factory job, not quite power cells, not exactly plenty of money, but enough. Yes, not quite right. This whole description of him is like 50% right, and this isn't completely wrong. This is all completely hallucinated. None of this happens in the story. Tone and themes. It is a. What's weird is that the theme is right. This is a critique of, Carmichael and his goals in the city. But it's not this story. So it's weird that the AI gets the theme right, but it's hallucinating how to get there. But at least Grok is genuinely sorry. That's not even close. You're just making things up. Okay. So we are now on try 5? And it's finally honed in. Okay. Focusing on George Evers. He's young. He's carefree. He's building kinetics armor. That's right. It explores. Yes. There we go. This is right. Right. Okay. This is correct. Right enough. This is correct. So it took us 5 or 6 tries to get it to understand what part 2 even is. So now we ask it again. Give me the 4 parts. All right. Yep. Part 1, this is right. Right. Okay. This is pretty much correct. This is right. Close enough. Gatekeepers. And then this is also correct. So, and then we reached our limit for this. So, I don't know much about AI in general, except from, dinking around with it here and other things. So, if you're going to use AI to help you, you're going to need to get much better AI, an AI that doesn't lie to you. And it's not. I didn't find this exercise helpful. Like, none of this was useful for me. But I think it's been about 2 hours. So let's see one of the things it can tell me. Is that it could tell me. Timeline and chronology check. All right. Give me a chronology of the story. Let's see. No, we're not at our we haven't waited 2 hours yet. So there we go. That's just an example of using AI to try and review anything. I would be curious. I tried looking at ChatGPT and it just said that it couldn't handle 50,000 words. Couldn't find any other AI that said it could do what Grok says it could do, but Grok can't. Grok just failed at doing this. Maybe if I had premium, maybe is premium Grok able to do this. But yeah, so there we go. That's what, 10 minutes or so on going through what, ooh, closer to 20 minutes. Huh. Well, yeah, so Grok kind of failed us. There we go.